This is Moray Robert B. Holman Jr.
And Moray Sean Appleton.
And this is Hebrews in
Exile.
Exile. You know, y'all, you don't understand. We come on these mics every week, and we come on laughing. It's because it's just, there are things that are just hilarious.
Yeah.
Just the thought about some of the things that we're going to talk about that we don't even know we're going to talk about, they're already hilarious.
Behind the scenes, yeah, we deal with a lot of stuff off camera that y'all don't know nothing about.
No.
But that's that kind of the undertone. But I got to steal your thunder real quick.
What?
I got to say something.
What?
Because it's been bothering me.
What?
Now, when I get invited to your house, there are some unsung rules that are there, right? When I walk in your house, I don't get to put my feet up on your couch. I don't get to go in your pantry and make myself a pork sandwich. No, I'm kidding. I don't get to. Y'all Hebrews, y'all know what that's about. I don't get to do whatever I want to do because why?
It ain't your house.
That ain't my house.
Exactly.
Okay? So, I'm going to say this for me, because my back is to the screen. And you've said it before. But I just want to take some of your thunder. I don't know what camera I'm on. Whatever one it is, I'm just going to look into this one, okay?
That's your camera.
That's my camera over
Yeah.
here. All right.
Or you can look into that one. That's your camera.
Oh, okay.
Either one.
Either one. This time that we are on this stage, at this time of the hour at night, or wherever it is, this is a Hebraic realm. And I'm speaking to everybody that's in that comment section. I don't know who is inviting y'all to come up in this comment section with that foolishness that y'all coming with. Okay? That is not going to be allowed in here. We got moderators that are in the back that are going to deal with you forthrightly. If you have an intelligent question that is germane to some type of acumen, where you have got a command over the English lexicon, where you can use your cognitive ability to put two words together that make sense.
What does cognitive ability mean? See, I'm not sure they know what you're talking about. Cognitive ability. You're using some big words for some dumb people.
I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
I'm talking about and addressing all these individuals that want to come in here and troll and use this platform to promote whatever you want to promote. We're here to talk about the things that are germane to the Most High, the mitzvot of the Most High. So, you make your comment, you're going to get kicked out. If it's something that is sincere, that you want to know about, we'll answer your question. But just coming up in here talking about some foolishness, talking about Matthew 19 is dealing with transgenderism. Matthew 19 is talking about how that is justifying these alphabet mafia, you know, the LGBT, whatever they are. That's not what that's talking about. Don't use your platform, or don't use this platform to promote mess, because that's not what we're about. If you want to know about being fundamentally Hebraic, this is the place for you to be. Otherwise, get the hell out and stay out. Period. Because it won't be tolerated from here on out. And I think I can speak for both of us. We don't have no problem shutting that comment section down. And y'all can just listen to us pontificate the whole entire time. We won't even engage. But this has got to stop. The foolishness ends here. Period. The end of story. Now, I'm sorry if I stepped out of bounds, or I'm stepping on toes, but some groundwork got to get laid. And that's what we're not going to tolerate. So if you have an astute question, definitely we will be approached with respect, with humility, and you will get an answer that's forthright, succinct, and direct. But anything else, I can't help you.
Now, let me see something here. You can't be out of bounds But if you go out of bounds, then you can't come back in and play.
That's right. That's right.
If there's a play in play, and you go out of bounds, you can't be the first one to touch the ball.
That's right. 100%.
So you can't be the first one to fuss.
Can't be the first one to fuss.
But doggone it, I sure the hell will.
So, with that being said, got some great subject matter. I don't know where the Most High is going to take us tonight, but please respect our house. Please respect our house. Okay?
Yeah, because it's you're not going to tolerate it, and I'm not going to tolerate it.
Not at all.
And I'm looking dead at the chat room.
Yeah, because I'm sitting in the middle of my dissertation. This is all I see from you. No, wait. You got to stop. No. I got to deal with this over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 7, Joe Cat. What is you talking about some Jesus did what with no? I'm not gonna be in the middle of a sentence. You stop me like that no more. That's all I see at the corner of my eye. Huh?
Yeah.
What is that on the screen back there?
Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry, y'all. I cannot deal with the tomfoolishness that some of these people want to come up in our chat room and bring us. So if y'all want the chat room to stay, then monitors back there, please keep it clean. Otherwise, chat room gonna get shut down. How's everybody doing now?
I think we good. I think we good.
Listen.
Yes, sir.
You have shown me in the mitzvot something that is very germane to thought.
Okay.
That Christianity doesn't connect to. And we talked about this last week.
Okay.
We talked about in Vayikra, Leviticus, I think 5 or so, it's okay.
Okay.
We talked about when you start reading in Leviticus chapter 1, and you start reading down through all the mitzvot, through all of the offerings that are there, and then you get into how those offerings are dealt with. While I recognize, and here's the thing that Christians say. One, the laws have been done away with,
right?
So we don't have to do them. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
2, there is no, and there's not going to ever again be any animal sacrifice, and that's not a true statement. But anyhow, we can't do animal sacrifice, which is correct.
Right.
In this exile, we can't do animal sacrificing because we don't have a kohanim, we don't have a temple, we don't have
the articles of the temple.
The articles of the temple,
yep. And we're not in the land.
We don't have the land in which to do these things in.
Yep.
However, noting the specificity that is within the process of bringing an animal sacrifice and understanding the dynamics around it, understanding how that the Kohanim and Moshe had to deal with all of these narratives of offerings and guilt offerings and sacrificial offerings and daily offerings and the shalamim, the peace offering, the fellowship offering, all these offerings that had to do with animals. Reading the text and looking at the specificity as to how these things had to happen caused me to think about something that I don't think that people really think about.
Okay.
And that is this. Sin has become within the realm of the religious world something very germane to repetition.
Okay.
And the repetition of sin has two escape components. When sin happens, the first thing that comes to whoever's mind is dealing with it, while the person is guilty of the action, the blame always gets put on a being that has a red face and two horns.
Red face, 2 horns. Got a little pitchfork.
Got a little pitchfork.
Yeah.
And they call him
The devil.
the devil.
Yeah.
Takes me back to a sitcom with, come on, I can see him, this is clear. You know, the devil made me do it. Oh, man. Flip Wilson.
He said Flip Wilson.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, Flip Wilson. Thank you, more. Thank you. See, you got to have some seniors.
You got to have some seniors.
To take you back.
Take it back.
Flip Wilson always used to have this little stuff. The devil made me do it.
Uh-huh.
So the devil gets blamed for all of the sin that happens. Then whoever is trying to deal with that is in this process of rebuking the devil within you,
Right.
so that the devil doesn't make you do these things. And then the eradicator comes, which is Jesus, for which all this sin is laid on, so that you are abdicated of what you did.
Right. Which
Which is an easy out.
absolutely.
Devil made me do it. You're gonna forgive me.
Exactly. And I think we've also brought up before in the past that with that ideation, you can't pick that up and place that in reality anywhere. You can't pick up having someone else, blaming someone else for an action that you committed, and then having someone else take the atonement for it. I can't go into a court of law and say, I embezzled X amount of dollars and someone else did it. I'm guilty of it, but someone else is going to pay the price for it. No, everybody is responsible for their own egregious acts and making atonement for it. You can't pick that thing up and use it anywhere.
We need to bring that text up, and we need to continue to repeat it in the ears of the hearer.
So we're going to Deuteronomy chapter number 24, verse 17.
Yes.
Let's get it. All right.
Let's get it. Deuteronomy 24.
Deuteronomy 24, 17.
And verse 17.
Is that where it is?
It's also
16.
In
Excuse me, 16, y'all.
Is it 16?
Yeah, it's 16.
Verse 16?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there it is. I have it highlighted here. It's also in the book of Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Now, here's what you have to understand. Okay? Jesus Christ cannot die for your sins.
Correct. 100%.
According to what his supposedly father said.
Correct.
Now, according to what his supposedly father said, because he said, I only say those things I hear my father say.
Come on, because that's exactly where I'm going. Let me go get that. While you doing that, I'm going to go over across the street and get it where he says, hey, I can only do those things that my father tells me to do.
So now,
let me go get it for you.
So now the father says in Divarim, Tamashe, tell the people that fathers are not exonerated for the children, nor children to be executed for the fathers. So, if Jesus Christ is his son, then he's executing his child for somebody's sins.
Correct.
Every person must be executed for
their
his own
own
sin.
Correct.
Deuteronomy 24:16, and it's also in Ezekiel.
And matter of fact, while we're there, because I said I was going to get it for you, it's in John chapter number 14 and 31, where it talks about, I can only do those things upon which my Father tells me to do. That's coming out of the mouth of your own Christ.
So why is he dying for someone's sins?
There's a myriad of reasons why we could postulate as to why that is.
Well, let's postulate.
I will always contend.
Somebody said, what does postulate mean?
We're using all these big words tonight.
What do you mean by postulate?
So, the first thing that comes to mind for me is I have to go back to the agenda upon which this book is written. This book is written to sell you one thing, which is Christ. Now, just because these Hebrew texts wind up in here to try to support him, don't make it that this book is right, because it's not, number one. So when we go across the street, the first thing that comes to mind is the ability to, number one, we've gotten rid of the Hebrew people. We've gotten rid of the land. We've gotten rid of the promise that the Most High has made to Abraham to deliver his people into the land. We've gotten rid of the system upon which Hebrews live their lives upon, which is a lifestyle that's built upon the mitzvot of the Most High. Those are all gone. So if we are now in Hebrews 7, where it says we have to now establish something new in order to support our deity. Now, I want everybody to understand what Hebrews 7 is saying. It is openly admitting that we, man, are changing the ways of the Most High in order to substantiate our new deity. The Most High never says, I'm changed. What? I'm not a man that I can.
am not a man that I should lie or change my mind.
So if I have instantiated it back here, it's going to be good in the future. So why? Because we have the liberty to do it. We totally rewrote the game.
Oh, yeah.
And we can go ahead and do anything. We can get rid of the mitzvot. We can get the word of the Most High out
now
and change it.
Yeah, now let's understand something, okay? If we're talking about who has done this,
Right.
we're talking about the church.
Yeah.
Anytime we talk about the church, we're talking about Rome and Catholicism.
Correct.
And Rome and Catholicism have told us blatantly out of their own mouth. You can go to YouTube, you can look it up. Cardinal bishops have said that they have changed things.
Correct.
Because they could.
Because they can. And why can they? Because they are the authors of this book.
Of the book.
This is not a Hebraic book.
Yeah. So getting back to my opening point about specificity and the aspect of sin being so easily dismissed and so repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard many sermons talk about every time you sin, you crucify him all over again. That's one of their.
How?
That's one of their. Well, because he died for sin, and you continue to sin. So since you continue to sin, he's being crucified all over again because you keep sinning. That's a one of the. I don't have the big word for it.
That's one of foundational cornerstones of their doctrine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that statement has been brought into existence to place guilt upon the person.
Okay.
I mean, every time you sin, dear, do you know you're crucifying Jesus all over again? So that places guilt on the heart of the person.
But see, hold on. In our Hebraic lifestyle, I'm glad that we're bringing this up, because when you look at when these sacrifices are being brought because you violated something and you have to make an atonement for it.
Yes.
That's work that you got to put in to bring that, go through the whole entire process of presenting that to the Most High. When you just sit there and say, okay, well, this individual died for all that, and there's nothing that connects you to some type of, I guess what I'm getting at, there's no investment there for you to make really an atonement. You can just simply say, okay, well, I'm sorry, I won't do it again.
Exactly.
But
and that's my point.
Okay.
You're on my point.
Okay.
The point is that, first of all, you have to recognize how large Hebrew Israel was at the time that these mitzvos were ordered by Moshe to give to them. And you got to realize also that during Moshe's time, Israel was not divided into two kingdoms.
Right.
So
That hadn't happened yet. Yeah.
now let's look at the number.
Okay.
The huge number. You have 604,000 plus that came out of Egypt.
Mitzrayim, yeah.
Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the math is of the numbers of those that died in the wilderness, but it does not matter how many died, because there was the repetition of children being born.
Correct.
To replace those who died. But we got I mean, if we're looking at the number of people that are traveling with Moshe going into the promised land, man, with the men, the women, the children and the foreigners, we have a population of about 8 million people. I'm guesstimating.
Mm-hmm.
So now, look at 8 million people, and let's just say that, let's lowball it. Okay? Let's say a third of those people are dealing with guilt and dealing with offerings that have to be given as a result of their forgetting the mitzvot and doing something that opposes them, and also willfully violating one or so, whatever.
Sure.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want you to picture in your mind, I'm lowballing. We're talking about, we probably got a lot. We got a lot of people traveling with Moshe during this time.
Sure.
Okay? You have to appear at the tent of meeting with your offering.
Yep.
Okay? That offering is going to be from the herd
Or
from the flock.
Yep.
Or a grain offering.
Grain offer.
Or from the or a
You can have a bird.
a bird.
Yep.
But you have to stand in line
Yeah. There's only one tent of meeting.
to approach the front of the tent of meetings where these offerings are slaughtered.
Yeah. You know what? What's coming about? What's funny is that's to say if you get in that day. I'm like, man, every time we talk about this, why the DMV just comes up in my mind. Now serving D27 at window number 5. And you sitting there all day long like, oh my gosh, really, bruh.
But think about that. Let's take that analogy in light of this.
Uh-huh.
You're at the DMV window holding a bull that knows that he's getting ready to go to the slaughter, so he's working against you.
Right.
Or from the flock, and this lamb or this goat knows that he's going to the slaughter and he's working against you, and you're standing in line trying to get your turn to approach the tent of meeting to slaughter this animal.
Sure. That's why the investment is like, I don't want to do this. I want to stay in right standing with the Most High, just so I don't have to go through that. That process alone should be enough.
Exactly.
To be like, you know what?
No. But hold on. Don't stop there. I mean, not only do you have that process to go through, but based upon the offering that you're presenting, the intricate aspects of removing certain parts of the animal have to also take place in that process for the offering to be accepted and to go up on the altar, and what goes up in smoke. It's got to be salted in some instance for the aroma.
Fragrant aroma.
I mean, I want you to think about the whole process is a deterrent.
Yes.
For sin.
Yep.
If we're in the land.
Right. 100%. Keep you
Now, we talked about this last week because you've been through it. An animal that knows he is getting ready to approach the slaughter does not go willingly.
Correct. And that was our testimony, is when we decided to do the 1 year Pesach, and we decided to slaughter the lamb that we had. That lamb knew, and it took 3 of us to get it over there.
Okay, so now here we got this line. You got your bull. I got my ram. Maybe you got your goat. Whatever. We standing in this line. And the closer we get to the gate, the anxiety of the animal raises. You standing in line, and this animal is pulling against you because he does not want to go to the slaughter. So, when you look at the process, it negates the idea that he went to the cross and he did not say a word.
Correct. Because
I can't say what I want to say. You know I want to say what I want to say, but I can't say what I want to say. So I'm going to say what I usually say. Doggy doo-doo.
But see, that's a good segue, because one of the things that I wanted to specify in that process is that, do you think these animals are sitting there, even though they're fighting the whole entire time, and not using the bathroom?
Oh, heck yeah.
That is not a good, that doesn't smell like, you got the latest Tom Ford on, or you wearing some Versace out there. That's not that. You have animals that are doing their business while you're out there too.
Yeah. Now
so
listen.
this is not a,
yeah.
It's just a deterrent. I mean, you don't want to go through it.
Listen, folks, we're talking about a process that goes on, that would be going on every day.
Every day, yeah.
All day. In Hebrew Israel, if we were in the land.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You read it, and you read through it, and you go, all right. But when you read it, and you look at it in specificity, and you understand the nature of what's taking place, in my mind, I'm going, oh, heck no, this is a deterrent. Now, hey, I can fight the line. I can fight the line at DMV by going online and doing all my stuff online.
Right, right, right.
But in this instance, there's no online, dude.
Right. You out there.
You out there every day. And you don't get to buck the line.
No, because it's coming, yeah.
And you got to realize there's a line, because Hebrew Israel is subjected to guilt.
Yeah.
And they're subjected to the fact that, oh, heck, we just broke this law. Or we may have done something that requires a sacrifice for that particular day.
Well, that's what I was going to piggyback on and say. It's not, for us, we understand not only is it for sin or inadvertent sin, it's for, I had a vow between you and I.
Yeah.
And at the culmination of that vow, let's say if I do a Nazarite vow, at the end of that vow, I have to make a particular sacrifice. That's not talking about, okay, well, at the end of, I'm trying to remember, Maury, I think, is it, do you have to do one, no, I think you just wash after your nidah. I'm talking about the ones like, say, for after a child gets, after the 8th day. I don't know if there's a sacrifice that has to be made at that particular time. I think she has to just stay away for X amount of days. But I'm just saying, the scope is beyond sin.
Yes.
There are other criteria that we offer it for, not only for sin, but it's for appointed times, it's for Thanksgiving, like you had mentioned before.
Right.
So this is, it could be
And
things.
there's only one entrance to the tent of meeting upon which these offerings can be offered.
Right. And it has to be without defect.
Yeah.
It's not, Most High is not saying, okay, you're going to go get the worst one out of there.
No.
It's all these types of things that have to take place. But I guess what is very cathartic for me in understanding all this is saying, look at, and I think this is where you're going, look at how detailed the Most High is.
Exactly.
And then I have to compare that if the Most High is that detailed about how the individual is supposed to bring a sacrifice, then this individual that is dying for the sins of the world, where is the liturgy? Where is the criteria? Where is the detail upon which I would think, if I haven't changed my mind or I haven't deviated from, and I'm speaking like, from what the text is. If I haven't deviated from that, then why is it none of those things that happened to him mirrored?
Well, not only that, when you look at the New Testament in its totality, okay, I don't recall there being a lot of offerings made for anything.
That's true.
In the New Testament.
That's true. That's true. It's very true. You don't hear about it at all. And matter of fact, even when we go, I think it's in John 7. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, look that up for me, please. I think if it's in John 7 where it talks about Yeshua himself or JC going over there and observing Sukkot.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about the mitzvot about Sukkot, there are sacrifices that are being brought every single
day
on those 8 days for Sukkot. But you don't understand that because you read through it, because you're focusing on him and not understanding, okay, well, he's observing a mitzvot. He literally is. He's going over there, and I know I had made a mistake before and said that he wasn't observing Sukkot, but he actually was.
Yeah, there's nothing in 7.
There's nothing in 7. Where is that in?
There's nothing in 7 that deals with Sukkot where there's any animal sacrificing being mentioned in the text at all.
Right, and that's my point, is that you'd have to know the backstory of what Sukkot was about to understand that there are sacrifices that are brought every day on of those 8 days of Sukkot. But you're right. You're 100% correct. There is nothing in the New Testament that talks about sacrifices at all. They kind of miraculously go away. And that's what I'm saying. When you get over to the New Testament, all of the teachings of the Most High or his people get eradicated.
That's because he came and did away with them. He did. Listen. He came and he did away with himself.
True. And that's why I asked the question. Answer me this. Prior to Christ's instantiation in Matthew, where it talks about his birth, tell me where the Most High does away with the mitzvot. Because he can't even exist without the mitzvot being broken. He has to come in through the world through the violation of the mitzvot. And because you don't know the mitzvot,
through the operation of the
Correct.
mitzvot. But he comes into the world violating the mitzvot.
Correct.
Yes.
That's true. And through something that we've never seen before, which is this virgin birth. We've never seen that before.
Never seen it, never heard about it.
And even in context, man, so we're getting into one of your books. When you look at the issue of where it talks about in Isaiah, you know, that whole entire issue of Emmanuel and all that stuff.
Right.
That's what you're going to continue to talk about this Shabbat
Yep.
when you deal with those prophecies.
Yep.
But they're taken way out of context to support this individual. We do not believe in, as Hebrews, we don't, not that we don't believe, we know there's no such thing as a virgin birth.
Right.
Can't be.
Can't be.
The only way a person enters the world is
by
through
procreation of a man and a woman.
which is a beautiful thing. If you know what I'm talking about.
If you know what I'm talking about, that's a beautiful thing.
That's why there's so many of y'all Hebrews now. Because that's the only way that it happens. And if the Most High decides that he wants to bring a person into this world that's beyond the scope of, for instance, we have so many examples in text where a woman is beyond her years of childbearing.
Yep.
And it's an impossibility because she's gone through menopause already. She can't have any more kids. But the Most High saw fit in two instances, in Shemuel and with Sarah. They're beyond their years and they're still giving birth. But again, here's my point. A man still had to be involved. There was no ghost
Ooh.
that just showed up in the middle of the night, snuck in your bed, and decided to do that. Okay? So you would have to prove to me somehow, some way, in between that 400 years that the Most High took a dirt nap, apparently, that he did away with those mitzvot. And now we're going to be able to bring a person in through some immaculate conception. It's something that's made up. And rightly so. Because when you look at the author of this book, which are the Greeks, they are known for having a lot of mythology. That's why the devil shows up in the New Testament.
That's why hell shows up.
That's why hell is over there. Hades shows up over there. It goes right along the lines with the narrative of the Greeks, which is mythology. So he said, "You mocking me back there, ain't you?" So that's where all that comes from. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent.
I mean, hey, listen. We need to understand the dynamics of what's really in play.
Sure.
And the dynamics of what's in play is that the Most High, through Israel, these mitzvot and these sacrifices and offering, has made it very difficult. If you're going to sin, it's going to be something heavy upon you. It's going to be heavy upon you, and it's going to be costly.
Yeah, very costly.
It's not this is not a freebie pass. Oh, I just sinned. Oh, forgive me. No. If we're in the land, that don't work.
Right. And I think it should.
And your daddy better be rich.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna need a lot of bulls.
Yeah, you're gonna need a lot.
And you're gonna need a lot from the herd.
And I think this is, please elaborate on this, because you do an eloquent job when you go to Yeramehu and you talk about this. Because one could say, okay, well, you guys believe in animal sacrifices and all that stuff, and we've already established that we can't do that while we're in exile because there are certain criteria that we can't meet. But the same criteria that was established for our ancestors, which we've said this for in this series, that when we're talking about Vayikra, is the same criteria that's instantiated today for us Hebrews that are in exile. The same criteria hasn't changed. If we were in the land, it would be the same as it would start in the same place, which again is any time that an infraction happens against the lifestyle of the Most High that's instantiated in the mitzvot or the commandments, the atonement starts in the heart. And that's where it begins, is having and we have text that talks about, it starts with a broken spirit and a chastised, a contrite heart.
Right. I mean, you have to come in a state of humility.
Humility, yeah.
Broken humility.
to say that I know what the mitzvot is. I broke it. I don't want to ever break it again. And so far, we move. And again, I'm prefacing by saying that if we were in the land, you'd still have to be able to say, okay, I have a broken and contrite spirit. I'm preparing my sacrifice, and then now I'm offering it to the Most High. How do we know that the Most High will accept my offering? Is because I'm looking at your heart.
Looking at your heart.
And that's where it starts. We're not in the land, but we still have the same process. I still have to say, I had a violation against that particular mitzvah to the Most High. I have a broken spirit and a contrite heart. I can't prepare a sacrifice. I can't offer it to the Most High. So the Most High will evaluate where I am. And we have too many places in text that says that the Most High doesn't really look at that burnt offering, doesn't really put the weight on the burnt offering. He puts the weight on your heart.
So let's go there for a minute, because he says in Samuel, offerings and sacrifices are not what I asked for.
Correct.
And so when you look at the Christian church, they'll throw that back at, well, the Most High's not looking for offerings and sacrifices. Well, no, he's not.
Correct.
And what's he looking for? He's looking for a heart that meets his criteria.
Yep.
That says, hey, I'm humbling myself before you in light of what's taken place. Because the Most High says, I know it's too easy for you to just keep bringing sacrifices.
Yep. It's got to cost you something. Yeah. That's why they're there.
And you keep bringing them, and I'm not accepting them.
Right.
And the reason I'm not accepting them because you're not bringing them in the right criteria of your heart.
Yep.
So therefore, he takes us to Jeremiah, and he says, I will search your heart, test your inner motivations in order to give to everyone what his actions and conduct deserve. Mm-hmm. You're going to get what you deserve.
Right, right.
If you bring it right, you will get that which is right. Mm-hmm. If you don't bring it right, you're going to get the pitcher to the catcher.
You're going to shake you off.
You're going to shake you off.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no obligation. And even that's the beautiful part about being Hebraic, is that the things that are in our text are in reality.
Right.
It is something that's a mirror image of what we experience every single day. Which, again, when I was up there teaching, I said the same thing. Just because I did an infraction against you and I say that I'm sorry, don't mean that you have to accept it.
Exactly.
Don't mean that I have to accept it. And the reason I say that is obviously because I have to somehow have a spirit of discernment to say you were sincere when you brought me that apology.
Exactly.
And the only really way true to, you don't emphatically know, because we can't see the inner part of a person, but the Most High can.
Right.
That's
yeah. So I mean, that's what I wanted to talk about tonight, is understanding the weight and the severity of the text where we deal with these offerings and sacrifices that have to be brought, as opposed to where we are in this exile.
Yeah.
And how we just kind of blow it off.
Right.
If we were in the land, you couldn't blow it off.
Right. You'd be dreading it.
Matter of fact. And the interesting thing about that is,
in some aspect.
Yeah. And the interesting aspect about that, you think about the DMV line.
Yeah.
And you think about this line of Hebrews that have got to go before the tent of meeting, and you've got this weight of guilt and sin on you, and you don't get your offering accepted that day because the line's too long. You get up there and sorry, we're closed.
Right.
We're closed.
Right. And then you got to bring yourself back up there the very next day and this is the kicker. Because we do have timelines on some things. Like, you have to bring this in a certain amount of time on some of these mitzvahs. So it's just not some willy-nilly deal. Being Hebraic is very specific. And that's the thing that I like about the Most High versus where we were in Christianity, where it's kind of loosey-goosey and people can interpret it the way they want to. The Most High makes it very, very detailed. I want bop, 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 bop.
I know we're in a state of not having any experience at this, looking at the text, and we're kind of surmising how this whole process would be going on. Mm-hmm. It's possible that they could have maybe multiple slaughters going on at the same time.
Sure. I mean, you got a tribe of Levium that are helping.
That are helping you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're. It
Yeah.
just says come to the tender meeting.
Yeah.
And slaughter it at the front of the
Yeah,
tender meeting, but
and-
you still there's one altar.
And all the blood's got to be splashed up against the
in.
altar, and the guts have got to be dealt with, and all this has got to be dealt with. Man, that's an all-day process.
I'll pass. I mean, there's some things you got to do, but I mean, it's not.
And then, let's use the DMV thing, okay?
Okay.
As a thing. As an employee for the state, particularly for public office, you get there and the office doesn't open until 8 o'clock. Doors don't open until 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So you got a lot of preparation to do before you get there. Right? So if I look at this, and I'm surmising in Hebrew Israel, because there are offerings that have to be brought every day and offered on the altar outside of the individual offerings that are brought,
Sure.
that the Levium have to deal with.
Yeah. 100%.
So y'all have to wait
Until
we get this dealt with before we can deal with you.
there's only so many hours in the day.
I mean, when you, like I said, when you read the text and you see what's there, the specificity that's there in light of it acts as a deterrent for an individual to even want to function outside the parameter of the Most High.
100%. 100%. And yeah, like I said, I mean, that's the beauty of reading and understanding the things that are part of our lifestyle. Absolutely.
So anyhow, anything else?
No,
You got on your mind? Anything else? I mean, that's what I had on my mind tonight. Anything?
No,
What-
I
what?
mean just reflecting on where we're moving forward to. I mean, that's the only thing that I have on my mind is the fact that, you know, as we're progressing through these mitzvot and learning the intricacies of how they work, it just continues to open and expand our mind on how specific, how the Most High doesn't leave anything up to chance.
Nope.
The Most High wants you to come correct. The things that are germane to him need to be dealt with from an internal standpoint. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to apply those rules to an everyday situation and have them be fruitful for us so we can move forward.
So in light of what we just said, there is a mitzvot that requires the attendance for congregation.
Oh, yeah.
What's the penalty?
You want to get it? I'm going to get it. Are you going to Vayikra chapter number 23? Is
What's
that where you at?
Well,
We talking about a holy convocation?
I don't know if it's in. I don't know if it's in 23. Is it in 23?
So you talking about the violation of Shabbat?
Yeah.
And the violation
I mean,
of
the violation
Shabbat
is the violation for Shabbat is death.
Yeah. The Deuteronomy? I know the holy convocations are in 23.
But the violation for Shabbat is in Exodus 31.
Yeah. So here's the question on the table. Why do you think the Most High put such a stiff penalty on a violation of the Shabbat?
Because the Shabbat is unto him. The Shabbat has nothing to do with an individual. Shabbat has to do this. The Sabbath shall be a Shabbat unto me. Let's go there for a minute.
Okay, let's do it. For the hearing of for the people.
Exodus 31.
31. Okay.
Starts in 12.
31 and 12. Okay. Let's get it.
Now, if you were in the land,
Okay.
and you violated this, you would be dead.
Dead as fried chicken. Okay.
Yahweh said to Moshe, tell the people of Israel, you are to observe my Shabbats. So
No.
that means not just the Sabbath Shabbat, but Shabbats, the Shabbats,
Shabbatones,
the
yeah.
Shabbatones,
All of them.
all of them. For this is a sign between me and you through all your generations. Period. It's a semicolon there, but it acts as a period.
Mm-hmm.
So that you will know that I am Yahweh who sets you apart from me. So now let's clarify that for those who don't know the simplicity of the language.
Okay.
So that you will know that I am Yahweh who makes you holy for me, if we're going to use that vernacular.
Okay.
Set apart means holy.
Okay.
Holy means set apart. We don't use holy because it's connected with heathenistic language. So he's telling you here, I'm not going to use any heathenistic language. I want you to know that the Sabbath is for me, in which I set you apart. Therefore, you are to keep my Sabbath because it is set apart for you. Everyone who treats it as ordinary must be put to death, period.
Stiff.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
For whoever does any work on it is to be cut off from his people.
Mm-hmm.
On 6 days work will get done, but the Sabbath is a Sabbath of complete rest, set apart for Yahweh. Whoever does any work on it. I mean, this gets into the work issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And he goes on down here in 16, says, people of Israel are to keep the Shabbat, to observe Shabbat through all their generations as a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the people of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heaven and earth, but on the seventh day he stopped working and he rested. So therefore, the penalty for not observing the Sabbath, which is a convocation, if you were in the land, would be the death penalty.
Yeah. Serious business.
So, my brother,
Yes, sir.
my brother, how does one justify his absence from Shabbat when there's an opportunity to participate in the Shabbat, but he just don't do it for whatever simple reason that he had? And notice in Exodus, there's no reason you can give him for not doing it.
I have no way to answer that because it's so emphatically clear. I mean, what justification
so
can
in
you
this
come
exile, we just take the Christian role. I'm just not going to do it. He'll forgive me.
Well, I mean, you ain't a part of Israel. It says emphatically in the text, this has been set apart for Hebrew Israel to know that I set you apart.
But I got reasons for not honoring the Shabbat. I mean, you know, I got issues. Issues don't come up. There's no criteria in here for issues.
Yeah, it doesn't say except the fact that you got to go to the grocery store, except that you have to whatever else that you decide. Because what does it say? Something about doing ordinary.
Well, I got feelings about those people down there at the congregation. I just don't want to be around them. That criteria doesn't come up in here.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. So this is what I would say. Just because we might have a difference of opinion, let's just call it out. Now, see, now I got to be specific. Now I got to move up in my chair. Now I'm going to go back to my camera here. All right? You did this. Now I got to go back to my camera. For those of y'all that had a problem with FTF and decided that y'all wanted to break camp, that's okay. We don't have to see eye to eye on everything. But that doesn't get you out of the ability to do the Shabbat. Just because you're not hopefully convocating with us doesn't exonerate you from observing the Shabbat and you've accepted the ways of the Most High. Okay? So, find yourself a congregation to go to, wholly convocate, observe the mitzvot. But that doesn't get you out of it. FTF ain't the only show in town. Are we?
No.
There's plenty other ones. They're not probably doing the same things or doing the same teachings that we're talking about, but at least they're wholly convocate or set apart convocating. So you don't have an excuse. So that's just food for thought. That's all I'm saying is that just because you broke camp and we don't see eye to eye on certain things, and that's perfectly fine. Everybody's not going to see eye to eye on everything. I understand that. But that does not get you out of the mitzvot.
Now, here's something that's very interesting.
Now you sitting up in your chair now too.
Now
wait
here's
a
something
minute.
very interesting. When Israel didn't see eye to eye with Moshe, where did they go? Where did they go?
He said they went to Sheol. It was a choice piece of real estate that opened
Where
up.
did the people go when they didn't see eye to eye with Moshe? Where'd they go? They go off? Well, there were some folks in text that decided they didn't see eye to eye with Moshe, and they went off and did their own little thing.
Right.
And they got swallowed up in the ground.
That's right. The real estate opened up. Right.
So we still have in this exile, being in Hebrew, we still have a Christian mentality. If I don't like it there, I just pick up my bongos and I just go somewhere else, and we'll set up camp and we'll start camp here.
Mm-hmm.
Which violates text, which says that we ought to be able to reason together.
Yeah.
We ought to be able to come to an understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, we talking mitzvot.
Yeah, If we're going to do it, let's do it right.
If you're going to be Hebrew, be Hebrew.
Right.
If you're going to be Christian, be Christian. We're not going to mix the two.
Yeah, exactly.
But we just go get us another. I'll be the moray over here, and we just separate ourselves from them, and we'll just do it our way. Well, I mean, hey, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. Just you do that, somebody's going to do the same thing to you. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Point taken.
What's the penalty? Well, hey, I realize that we're talking to, and we may be talking to, a lot of people who do not have a congregation in your local town to congregate in. We realize that that is problematic in a lot of places, and I get a lot of emails asking me if there's a First Tabernacle Fellowship in the city or near the city that a lot of people in. I go, no, we're the only ones here out on the West Coast, But and so there are a lot of people that don't have the opportunity to fellowship with a congregation. Therefore, they fellowship with us online.
Right. So, that's a delineation that we got to make, where it's you have the ability to and decide, make a conscious decision not to, versus not having the ability to because you're so isolated from everybody else. There's a delineation between the two. But there again, where does that start?
Heart.
The Most High knows where your heart is.
He knows where your heart is.
So you don't have to prove that to anybody, except for the Most High.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, now that we have crucified a bunch of people,
oh boy, they coming for us.
You don't care, and I don't care. As Stephen A. Smith always said, when somebody I hear, I'm not hiding from nobody. You know where I am.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing we should not be doing with these mitzvos is breaking fellowship with each other.
Yeah, over them, yeah.
And once again, I get back to the question, where did Israel go when they got upset with Moshe, or when they got upset with Yahushua? Where'd they go? What new community did they start?
None that I can tell.
And let's put it this way. Those that got upset, they really didn't, and the Most High said this. The Most High said this. He said, they are not upset with you, they're upset with me. It's not you. Don't take it personal. It's me that they're upset with, which is the reason why they went off and did the things that they did, which, doggone it, has got us in this exile when we should be enjoying the fat of the land in the land. And we can't be there because our ancestors
Right.
decided to go off and do their own thing like the nations were doing. And look what that got us.
In an exiled land where we fighting for our lives.
Moray Beacom, shalom to you. Glad to see you in the chat room, bro.
He said, who said grapes with no seeds? You said grapes with no seeds. He said it's got us grapes with no seeds.
Oh, sour grapes he's talking about?
Got y'all under...
Your children are on, their teeth are on sour grapes?
Right. Got y'all living out what's in Tex. Over there in Diverine.
Yeah.
Getting ready to come under, for those of y'all in the United States under administration, where y'all going to be wondering whether or not your kids going to come home safe at night.
Well, that's all I got to talk about tonight.
Okay. All right. We good? We in a good spot?
Yeah, I mean, you came online, so I guess the trolls must have heard because not one of them showed up tonight. Darn it. Darn it. Darn it.
Oh, they'll be back. That's what trolls do. They hide under their little caves underneath the bridges and everything, and they'll be back. They see they got to come with some ammunition. You see what the last time they came back with us with was trying to prove this transgender stuff.
Well. Wait. Moray Beckham, what wild hair do you have this evening? Is it something we can talk about?
He got something in the chat room he gonna put in there? He trying to type. He trying to type.
Oh. You always watch us on the chat, or you always want you on the chat. Which one is it, Bob Beacom?
Hey, I'm gonna relinquish my seat. You can come on. Come on down here. Sit down here with the Moray.
Anyway, that's all I got for tonight. This has been Moray Robert B. Holman Jr. and
Moray Sean Appleton.
And this has been
Hebrews in Exile. Shalom.